If you want to adjust the volume and brightness on your Mac more precisely, there's an easy way to do that. Hold down the Shift and Option keys while you're adjusting your volume, and the standard one-notch up or down adjustment gets broken down to smaller increments. This same trick works with your display brightness. Just hold down Shift and Option keys while you're adjusting brightness, and you'll be able to set your brightness more precisely. When I was younger, my friends and I would always compete whose computer had the highest uptime, aka how long your computer was running without restarting. And while I'm not young anymore, I still like to take a peek at my uptime every now and then. So here's 3 ways to check your uptime on a Mac. Once you guys do this, I want you to let me know in the comments what's the longest uptime you've had. This first one requires a paid app, but the next 2 are free. I like using iStat menus to show all kinds of stats about my computer in the menu bar, and this is probably the easiest way to quickly check your uptime. Another easy way is to open up Terminal and simply type uptime and hit enter. Terminal will also show you your load averages, which show the system load over different time intervals. The first number is your system load over the past minute. The second number shows it for the past 5 minutes, and the third one is the past 15 minutes. These numbers indicate the average number of processes that are either running and actively using the CPU or waiting for CPU time. If your system has 1 CPU core, a load average of 1 means the CPU is fully utilized. If the number is below 0, the CPU is underutilized. And if it's above 1, or the number of cores you have, there are more tasks waiting for CPU time than the CPU can handle. My system has 12 cores, so seeing my load average is around 5, I know my system is handling the workload well and has room for more. To check how many CPU cores your Mac has, you can type this command in Terminal. Third way to check your uptime. Go to the Apple menu in the top left corner and pull up that About This Mac window. Then click More Info and open up your system report. Once you're there, click Software. You'll see the time since last reboot listed right here. And that is how you check your uptime. Let me know what's your record. If you own a Mac Studio or a new Mac Mini, you may want to clean up that bad boy every once in a while. They're designed to pull in cool air from the bottom, which works great. My room isn't particularly dusty, but as you can see, when this thing is running day and night, over time it'll pull a pretty crazy amount of dust, blocking the air vents. Maybe it's just me, but I don't usually look under my Mac. So if you own one of these, flip it over every once in a while and take a look to see how it looks underneath. If the menu bar of your Mac looks all cluttered like mine, you can download a free app called Vanilla, which allows you to clean things up. With Vanilla, you can choose which icons are always visible, and all the other junk can be revealed or hidden with a single click. I'll add a link in the description, go check it out. If you want to prevent your Mac from sleeping automatically, here's a few different ways to do it. The easiest way to prevent your Mac from sleeping is to go into your settings and under Energy toggle on Prevent Automatic Sleeping when the display is off. This will allow your display to turn off, but your Mac will still stay awake and operate as usual. If you want to adjust the timing for display, sleep, or screensaver, you can do that here under the lock screen settings. If you want a little more control over the sleep settings on your Mac, you can use a third-party application like this one here. This app is completely free and you can download it from the App Store. It lives in the menu bar of your Mac and it allows you to set a specific time frame when your Mac is not allowed to go to sleep. You can also use this to tell your Mac to not sleep when a specific application is running or when a certain file is being downloaded. It's a great way to ensure your Mac doesn't go offline if you have long time consuming tasks and you want to make sure they get completed without any interruptions. Another one of my favorite hidden features on a Mac is the ability to hand-sign documents without needing to print or physically sign anything. You have a PDF in the Preview app, you open up the markup tools, and with the signature tool you can use your laptop's trackpad to create a signature, which then gets saved, and you can drop it into all future PDF documents. If you have a desktop Mac without a trackpad, you can sign a piece of paper, show it to your webcam, and it'll pull your signature from there. Pretty neat, huh? To change the keyboard language on your Mac, you'll first go to System Settings and Keyboard Settings. Under the keyboard settings, we'll want to modify the input sources, aka the languages that are used as input sources for your keyboard. I have 2 languages set up on my computer, and as I switch between these, you'll notice how certain keys on my keyboard will type a different character depending on which input source is active. Changing the input source allows you to type foreign characters even if your physical keyboard doesn't have those characters. You can add as many languages as you want, and depending on the language, your whole keyboard layout might change to foreign characters. If you're bilingual and need to frequently switch between languages, you can set up a keyboard shortcut that allows you to quickly switch your keyboard language. You can also have the input source shown in your menu bar, and I'll show you how to do this in a second. Here's how you set up keyboard shortcuts. Go to the keyboard settings, click the keyboard shortcuts button, locate input sources, and you'll see shortcuts for switching your input source. I believe the Control+Space shortcut is the default, but if you double-click this, you can change it into anything you want. Hit those keys and the input source will switch between languages. If you'd like to have the language displayed in your menu bar, go to your keyboard settings and under Input Sources, check this box here. You can also tell your Mac to automatically switch the input source based on the language of the documents you're currently working on. Here's how you can change file permissions for multiple files and folders on a Mac. This is especially useful when you're working on a directory like this, where you want to change the permissions for all these subfolders and all the files inside them with a single click. To change permissions, you can open the info window, unlock it from the bottom corner, and then change the permissions for a specific user or user group. The only issue with this is that when I change the permissions to the top folder, it applies to that folder only, but none of the folders or files inside the main folder. To apply the change on all folders, not just the top folder, let's bring back that info window. We'll unlock it first and then click this little guy here and choose Apply to Enclosed Items. That will apply the change to every file and folder inside the folder we're inspecting. So now when I go back and open up a bunch of info windows for all the different folders, you'll see they all have the updated permissions for the user group we just changed. The very first thing I always need to do on a new Mac is to change the scrolling direction. We'll go to System Settings, locate the mouse settings on the bottom of the sidebar, and here we can change the scrolling setting. What Apple calls natural scrolling feels wildly unnatural to me, so I always disable it. While we're here, you can control all your other mouse settings like tracking speed, secondary click, and all the different gestures. On a laptop, the process is the same, but instead of mouse, you'll do this under the trackpad settings. The trackpad settings have more options than the mouse settings, so to find the scrolling toggle, you'll need to click the Scroll and Zoom tab. Same thing, just enable or disable natural scrolling depending on your preference. Or how about this little trick? If you have any videos or photos that have text in them, you can copy-paste from the video directly. It doesn't matter if you're playing it on QuickTime Player, YouTube, or something else. Go give it a try, it's pretty nice. So, you plugged in your external hard drive, but it's nowhere to be seen on your Mac. Here's a couple of things to try. First, hide all applications and look for this little prompt here. It's a security feature that requires you to give the accessory permission to connect to your Mac. I've noticed if you have a lot of applications and windows open, this prompt can sometimes get hidden behind your active windows. Sometimes I also run into an issue where the prompt quickly flashes on my screen like this and disappears before I see it, or before I can click it. When that happens, unplug your drive and plug it back in. You may need to repeat that a couple of times before the pop-up remains on screen long enough for you to click it. Don't ask me why, but I'm guessing it's got to be a bug with the recent macOS versions. If that didn't help, or if you don't see that pop-up, it's time to open your disk utility. Sometimes macOS will recognize the drive but leave it unmounted. Look for any grayed out volumes on the side here. I can instantly see my drive is here, but it's currently not mounted. So to access the drive, I can just manually mount it. These will usually fix drives not showing up. If you're still having issues, it's time to check your cable connections to make sure there's no issues there. Also, check the ports on your computer, or try a different port. If you're using adapters, make sure that's not the issue. And if your drive uses an external power source, make sure the power cord is connected and the drive is powered on. If you can't empty the trash on your Mac, it's usually because you have files and folders there that are locked. And if it's a bigger folder, unlocking everything one by one is not a very good option. The best way to fix this is to go to the list view and then choose all folders. Click the little arrow while holding down the Option key and it'll open that folder and all the subfolders within those folders. Once you have the full directory pulled open, select everything at once and use the keyboard shortcut command Option +I, which will show info for multiple items. From here, we can unlock every file and folder with one click. Almost forgot, I should also unlock this main folder that holds everything. Alright, once everything is unlocked, you should be able to empty your trash without any issues. I've had this issue a few times and it's super annoying, but the solution is pretty simple. One feature I use all the time on my Mac is the ability to save pretty much anything as a PDF file. Here's a web page that I want to save as a PDF so I can view it offline. Simply go to File and Print. The print option in Safari will convert the web page into a nice multi-page document that you can either print or just save as a PDF file. Click here to save it as a PDF, and you'll have a copy of the web page. You can do this with any text document that has a print option for. Here's another example. I'll save a copy of this email as a PDF. I do this with a lot of receipts or shipping labels that I don't want to print, but instead I need to email it to someone or just save it for later. This right here is a fun little custom message you can add on your Mac's lock screen, and I'm going to show you how to do your own. Easy peasy as always. We'll go to System Settings, Lock Screen, and enable this thing here. Set your message and your Mac will greet you with a snarky little greeting. Next time you're logging in or with anything you want to see there, once you do that, drop your best lock screen message ideas in the comments below, and we'll see who has the best lock screen message on their Mac. Have fun with it. Let me know what you come up with and punch that like button below on your way out. I'm going to show you the best way to protect files and folders with a password on a Mac. There's no easy way to add a password to individual files and folders, but I feel like this is actually a better way to protect your sensitive files. We're going to create a disk image which acts like a folder and holds all your sensitive files behind a single password. You're going to open Disk Utility and create a new blank image. Give it a name. Choose your encryption mode and type the password you want to use. The longer the password, the more secure it is. You can create a standard disk image with a fixed file size, but I prefer to use a sparse bundle format instead, because they are more flexible when it comes to file size. If you create a 100 gigabyte standard image, it will take up 100 gigabytes of hard drive space, even if you don't have any files inside it. But when you make it a sparse bundle, the actual file size will only be as much as the size of the files you're storing inside. I'm going to make mine 500 gigabytes just to make sure it never runs out of space. Once that's done, you'll see a sparse bundle image here. You can think of this as a folder or a virtual hard drive that's protected with a password. Open it, and you'll be prompted for a password. After entering your password, you'll see your disk image here listed similarly to an external hard drive. Now it's time to move our sensitive files in here. I'll use these screen recordings as an example and copy them in here. Once they've been copied over, I can delete the originals and empty my trash to make sure no one without the password can access them. Now my files are accessible here on the disk image, and when I want to hide them, I can just unmount the disk image. After that, all that's visible is the disk image and its name. But you can't see any of the contents without the password, so that's how you protect files and folders behind a password on macOS. It might seem complicated at first, but once you've created the disk image, it's super simple. Just think of it as a folder that requires a password to be opened. To reveal hidden files on your Mac, you'll hold down Shift, Command, and the period key. And with that, all kinds of hidden files will appear. If you don't see any, it means there's no hidden files in the location you're looking at. And of course, to hide these files again, you'll simply hit the same keyboard combination again. Keep in mind, all these files are hidden for a reason. So be careful when you go poking around and don't delete anything if you're not sure what you're doing. macOS Sequoia does not have this type of convenient sleep scheduling tool anymore, but I'll show you an easy workaround. Why did Apple remove such a basic function? I'll never understand, but you can easily schedule a repeated sleep pattern by using Terminal. If you're not familiar with Terminal, don't worry, this is pretty easy, and with my instructions, anyone can do it. Here's my little cheat sheet for the command to set a sleep schedule. The first part here sets a repeat sleep event to happen on your computer. This part here sets the days of the week. I currently have it set up for every day of the week, but if you wanted to do weekdays only, for example, you would remove the last two letters. So basically, you'll first list the letters for the days of the week when you want your computer to sleep automatically. Then you'll set the time in a 24-hour format. 1 p.m. would be 13, 5 p.m. would be 17, etc. I'm going to set it for 9 p.m., so in 24-hour format, that's 21. For all you folks used to AM and PM times, AM times are the same in 24-hour format, and for PM times, just add 12, and you have your time in a 24-hour format. Next, you'll open Terminal on your Mac. Copy-paste the command, and confirm it with your password. I'm pretty sure you need an admin account to set this. If you want to check what's currently scheduled on your Mac, you can use this command here to get a list of scheduled power events. Mine is now showing the sleep event we just scheduled, and some other hidden power events. The top one refers to Apple's analytics services. The ones below are calendar apps, travel time calculations, and the last two are timers for the Do Not Disturb feature. All basic functions of your Mac, but usually hidden from the user. Lastly, if you want to cancel the sleep schedule, you can do it with this command here. Doing it this way is definitely more complicated compared to the old way, but for most of us, you'll set it up once and don't really need to think about it after that. I'm going to show you how to add an email signature in Apple's Mail app on macOS, and we'll go over two different ways to do it. First, we'll make an email signature from scratch, and after that, we'll use an easy-to-use signature generator. To add a signature to your email account, you can just create your signature in any app that allows you to edit text, and then you'll simply copy-paste it into the Mail app. I'm making mine in the Notes app here, where I can hit Command+T to edit my font style and size. I can add links to my text by using Command+K, and I can even attach photos to my signature. The photo I'm attaching was a little too big, so I opened it in the Preview app and changed the size slightly to make it smaller. Once I'm happy with the signature, I'll just go to Mail Settings and copy-paste my signature under the Signatures tab. Make sure to uncheck the box that says Always Match My Default Message Font, because otherwise all the font editing you just did won't carry over. And now every time I send an email, my signature will be automatically added. If you want to make your signature a little more professional, you can use a free signature generator online to format it into a professional and visually nicer looking signature. Here's just one example of a signature generator. You can add all your contact info and other relevant things. You can include a photo, a link to your site, a call to action, and a lot more. What I like about this is that it formats everything in a very clean format. And once you're done, you can simply copy-paste this into your Mail app. All right, let's give this a try again. Go to the Mail app, go to Settings, and then Signatures. Now just copy-paste your signature in and you're done. And make sure to uncheck the box down here because otherwise it won't look right. You can have multiple signatures and you can easily switch between them when sending out emails. Did you know you can group your applications in the dock by adding spacers? Here's a quick tutorial on how to do that. Adding spacers is super simple. Just open Terminal on your Mac and copy-paste this command in the Terminal window. There's a command for a standard spacer and a small spacer, and I'll show you the difference in a minute. I'll also add the commands in the description so you can copy-paste them from there. Let's do the small spacer first. Paste the text in Terminal. Hit Enter and your dock will restart with a spacer in it. Now you can drag and move the spacer anywhere you want. If you want another spacer, just repeat the previous step and add as many as you'd like to. I'm going to do some grouping here and maybe combine all my video editing applications into one group. That's pretty good. Let's try that standard spacer next. Same thing. Copy-paste the command into Terminal and hit Enter. The standard spacer is pretty big. Might be good for some things, but personally I'm not really feeling this. Feels like a waste of space in the dock. Let me just do some organizing and make a quick group here. Maybe it'll look better with a solid group of apps. I don't know, man. Still not really feeling it. To remove any spacers you don't want, you can just right-click the empty space and choose Remove from Dock. So that's pretty much it. Paste the command into Terminal. Do it as many times as you'd like and group your apps. Give it a try and let me know what you think. Here's the deal. The Spotlight search on your Mac is badass, and you are probably not using it enough, so here's 12 different ways you can utilize Spotlight on your Mac. Here's what most people do. They use Spotlight to launch applications and open files. And that's it, but it does a lot more than that. You can use it as a calculator and do math directly in the search bar, or hit Enter and open up the calculator. You can use it for unit conversions. Type in any unit and you'll get all the important conversions, whether it's distances, volume, currency, or temperature. You can use it to look up words. Type in any word followed by definition, and you'll get a definition for your word. If you're lazy, skip the word definition and it still works. Pro tip. Hold down the Option key and use the arrow keys on your keyboard to jump through the results quicker. You can use it to check the weather or to look up sports scores. You can use it to get directions, although for this one you'll have to launch the Maps app to see your directions. But Spotlight still gives you a nice shortcut. You can use it to check the stock market. Type in a ticker symbol or the company name, followed by stock. You can use it to filter results if you're looking for something specific. For example, narrow down your search to a specific file type like this. You can use it to quickly jump to a specific part of your system settings. And how about this one? You can use it to track flights. Just type in the flight number, hit enter, and you'll get a nice flight tracking window directly in Spotlight. And lastly, world clock. Type in the city and you'll get the local time. Although oddly this worked when making the tutorial, but as I'm editing this, it's not currently working, but I'll include it here anyway. Might be just down temporarily right now, who knows? Anyways, there's 12 ways to use Spotlight. I'm going to show you how to stitch two videos together on a Mac without needing any third-party applications or video editing software. So I have two videos here that I want to combine into one video file. The process is super simple. You're going to double-click one video so it opens in QuickTime Player. And once you have it open, you can just drag and drop your other video file on it, and it will merge the videos together. You can change the order of the videos or add more videos if you want. Now your two videos are together. And if you're wondering why I have a peach emoji on a phone screen, it's from my recent video on how to hide sensitive photos on your phone. Once you're happy, go to File and Export and choose your resolution. Give your video a name and choose whether you want to save it in the more compatible H.264 format or the more efficient HEVC format, which will give you similar image quality and a smaller file size but might not work on all devices. Once your export is done, you can close out the QuickTime Player window. And if it's asking you what to do with the untitled document, you can delete it. We already exported a copy, so we don't need this. And there you have it. Your two videos are now stitched together in one video file. Easy as pie. I'm going to show you how to change this list of 5 built-in display resolution presets and turn it into a full list of custom resolutions like these ones over here. First, we'll go to System Settings and navigate to Displays. Now you'll see the 5 default resolutions. And while these are usually fine for most people, sometimes you might need a specific resolution that's not listed here. If you hold down the Option key and click one of these, you'll see more options. And if you need even more options, just click this guy here and you'll get the full list of resolutions supported by your display. And that's how you unlock custom resolutions on your Mac. Here's a common question I see from Mac users. Why does my Mac use so much memory even though I don't have many applications open? Here's a real-life example. I have a handful of applications open right now, but none of these are particularly heavy applications. All I have open is some spreadsheets, mail, and other lightweight applications. Yet when I look at my memory usage, I'm currently using almost 33 gigabytes of memory. This is where a lot of people freak out and assume there's a memory leak somewhere. There's no way a couple of basic applications can need over 30 gigabytes of memory, right? Most Macs don't even have that much. There's a very easy and simple answer to this. Like some helpful person already replied to this particular post online, having free memory, sitting around doing nothing, has no value. Free memory is wasted memory. Your Mac is designed to put all of its memory to use to make your user experience as smooth and effortless as possible, even when you're using just a few basic applications. It will automatically delegate memory usage based on the tasks that are running on your computer. So instead of looking at how many gigabytes of memory your system is using, it's usually better to look at the memory pressure graph down here. This represents how efficiently your memory is serving your processing needs. When it's green, you're chilling. When it starts to climb up to the orange zone, you're starting to actually push the limits of your system. So to sum it up, high memory usage with minimal load is normal, and you don't need to worry about it. Hope that helps to calm down all you worried people out there. Give us a shout if this is something you've been monitoring, and let me know how much memory you're using on a regular basis. And that wraps up my Power User Marathon for now. Hopefully you picked up a new thing or two and you know your Mac a little bit better now. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to share this with your fellow Mac users, and I hope to see you all in the next video.